So the instance is launched, and then there we have the instance. What do we want to do now? We want to work in cloud or connect remotely to our instance in cloud. I prefer to connect remotely. So what's our SSH client for connecting remotely? You remember the name?
Mobile XM.
Mobile XM, thank you. All right, so I load my mobile XM. And then I have a session here. Let me delete that so it doesn't confuse. So I create a new session, SSH session through this EC2. You know, there are two systems. Now, this is my local laptop, and then the EC2 in cloud. To connect to that, let's go and pick the IP address. So we come to cloud, and we take the I'll be taking so long. Which IP address should be showing now? What did we do wrong? Pending. What do you think? Something wrong? Let's quickly go ahead and create another one while we're waiting for this. So launch a new one. After you are seeing my screen, again, we are launching one, and then same volume that should allow SSH. By the way, we do have a, we have Coco that we created for. Instead of creating a new security group all the time, we just use Coco. All right, launch. Yes, we have CAD. Yeah. Okay, so what do we have now? Okay, so this one is running now. Let's see. Well, that took a long time. You know, cloud is not, after all, as reliable as they make it sound. Sometimes it just introduces. Anyway, it's working now. So let's take our IP address. Right? So where do we take it to? We take it to our mobile XM, Control V, who is logging in, EC2 user. And then we have our cars. Where's our car? Cars open. All right. Okay. So are we connected now? Yes, we are connected. All right. So we have SSH into our EC2. Good. So what do we want to do? Have you practiced? Did you practice? Is there anything you need us to revise before we learn something new? In your practice, did you find any challenge, something you tried to do that you couldn't do, or something you don't understand? Yeah? Any questions? Are you guys with me at all? Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, if there are no questions, then I assume that you have practiced everything that we have done and you understand it all. Okay, so in that case, okay, so what we want to do today is network, right? Let's call it networking. We want to connect to servers. We want to be able to communicate from one server to another server. So luckily, we already have the other server signal. So let's go back to cloud. Let's see the servers. So we just connected to this one. Let's call this one server one. So we connected to server one, right? Then let's call this one server two. So let's connect to server 2. So we have server 2, copy the IP address. So we go back to mobile XM, and then we set up another session. We'll come here, and we'll say session to another EC2. Please log in EC2 user. And then are we using the same key pair? Okay, so are we connected? Yes, we are connected. So we have this system and we have this system, right? So there are two different servers, but we want to connect those two servers together so they can form like a network on their own. All right. So how do we do it? How do we log into this server? Okay. So which one is which? Let's get it. 90.94. This time we look at the private IP address. This is 90.127. That is server 2, right? Server 2 ends 90.23. Let's quickly go more country. 90.94. 90.237. So this is server 2. Okay. We didn't learn that command. There's a command called host name CTL. Okay. Set host name to server 2. Right? Could not set host name because what? Policy was not provided in fact. Okay. So not sure what that means, but normally it should be. All right. So if you cannot do something, then you don't have the power. So you invoke it to do privilege. Right? So what have we done now? What's the meaning of this command? Let's switch user to sudo su. So the name has changed from that name to server 2. So that is the meaning of this command. That is what we achieve with this command. Host name CTL, change the name of the host from whatever it is now to server 2. So the name of this system is now server 2. So that way it's easy for us to identify them. All right. So let's go back to first. You already know that when we change to root, the sign changes from dollar to hash. All right, let's go back to EC2. Switch user to EC2. Right. So server 2. Let's change this one to server 1. Who can help us change this to server 1? Is that correct? Hello? People should make this class interactive. It'd be boring if you just let me talk 3 hours alone.
Well, you know, we have not learned this one before. We are just learning it now. So
yeah, we used it once now, so you should know it from there.
Yeah.
So sudo host name CTL, that is the command, then set host name. Then what name do you want to call this server?
Server 1.
Okay. All right, it's done. But just for you to see that it's done, let's do something like log in, log out, or start or something. So I would just prefer to say switch user sudo su. So because I have moved from where I am to a different place, it now reflect. That's all I wanted to reflect. Now that I've reflected that, let me go back to switch user to EC. I could have restarted the computer, which will take longer. Switch user to EC2. All right. All right, so now we have renamed server. Please note that command. Do I have it anywhere in the notes? Just write it down in case I don't have it in the notes. That's how to learn from.
Hello, sir. There is this thing I quickly want to bring as an observation. I don't know if this thing is showing on your own screen. There is a bar, like right now, something used to cover the screen, your screen. I don't know if you are seeing it, but in my own end, on my own end, I do see sometimes like a bar.
Yeah, I can see it here too. Even in the last video, it was in the last
so
video.
it really interrupts the last video.
Oh,
Like,
really? Bar
so
like?
many times. Like so many times.
Let's correct it. So what is the bar?
It was in the
What does
last
the bar
video.
say?
It's like
a blank,
a sketch, like a blank, like a blank something.
board, like I don't know.
It covers all the it covers some of the command line that you are using, so we can't see it.
I see.
Identified. I cannot see it. Okay. Let's do this. Restart the time. Which one is this one? Restart it. So what are you saying now? Are you still seeing it?
No.
Okay, so let's go to mobile extern, right? I'm double clicking the session. Okay, that one is open. Are you still seeing it?
No.
Okay.
No.
So we are trying to identify it and know where it's coming. So this is one session. We have two. Where's the second one? Let's come here and look for sessions actually. No, we're not creating a new one. Let's go off.
Servers, on the servers, I think.
And this one is let's read. Okay. So this is server 1. This is server 2. Okay, so let me see if I can rename this. Which one is this one? This is server 1, right?
Yeah.
So let's rename session. All right, session will be server 1. Okay, does it help? All right, then this one will be renamed. It's not part of Linux, it's just for our convenience. Nobody wants server 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see what of now? You see the
Yes, it's there back now. It's there now.
It's back there now. It's back there now.
So it's just blank. Okay, I know what it is. It's the place where I can mute, show video, set security, and if anybody is waiting, where I can let them. Okay, so let me move it permanently. Are you still seeing it?
Yes.
Yes, right. What do I hide it now? Let me look for a way to permanently.
Well, it wasn't in our first class now. And
in our
second.
first class, it's not there on our first class. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't identified the problem. Let's just solve it together so that. How do we where do I put it? Okay. So it's still there now, right?
Yes.
It's about Zoom. It's something about Zoom. So instead of taking your time to go and be looking for it.
I think it's still there, but where it is now is still good. It's not covering the distance.
It's manageable like this.
Yes, it's good like this.
Okay, let's manage it. Okay. So now let's start the task of trying to connect these two servers. Where do we even start from? First of all, is this server seeing the other server? Let us ping. Let us ping. Are they seeing each other? They are both in cloud. They are both in AWS. They are both in the same the same region. So how
Sorry
do we
to interrupt you. Can I see the command you use to set the
server, the
to change the host name? Yeah, please.
right?
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, so the command to see whether one system is seeing another system is ping. And then what is the IP address of the other system? Let's quickly go to cloud and get the public IP address. But public IP address is, for now, the way to. So for server 1, if we don't want to keep coming here, we can just copy this and save it somewhere. So server 2 is this one. Okay, so this is server 1. So ping server 2, Control B. So that's it. Does it connect? Right? I think it should go in. Why did they? Okay, this is server 2. Let's ping server 1 from server 2. So this is server 1. This is the public IP address. So we'll copy it and then we'll go back there and we'll say server 2. Can you ping? Can you see server 1? Okay. So what we are seeing now, I did not expect it. It's saying it's timing out. It's saying I cannot connect. Normally we expect it to say I have connected and I'm when it says reply, it means I can connect with and I can see. But right now, it's not saying anything. Anything other than reply. All right, let's just make sure we got the IP address right. From server 1, we should be pinging server 2. This is the IP address of server 2, ending 152.179. Server 2. No, it's not. No, this is server 1. Server 2 ends 152.179. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let's try to let's find out what the problem is and let's start to make it work. Because at the end of the day, what we want to achieve is that this system can see this system, it can ping, and therefore we should be able to SSH into this system from this. All right. So I have notes here. Let's follow the notes. So the first thing we want to do to achieve that is we want to say to be able to SSH from one system to another system, let us create a SSH key gen to generate a public and SSH key gen. Right, this is going deep into DevOps part of Linux. Go to okay. Let's follow the steps one by one. Control C. So when this guy sent signal from here to server 2, nothing was received at the other end. All the packets sent were lost on the way. And took all of that. Okay, so we're not. All right, so we want to say SSH, that command. In fact, we can just copy. We'll copy this command. SSH keygen. Control C. Then we'll come here from server 1. We do that, right? So what does it say? We're saying generate SSH key. Enter file in which to save the SSH key. Otherwise, it will be saved into this file. So I just press enter to say yes, save it to that file. So the next question is enter password. I say I don't have password. Are you sure? I don't have password. So that is that. Just that command, SSH keygen. I have generated the SSH. Now, where was it generated? Look at the destination. So let me go to this place. Remember, we've done this is SSH directory, and inside it we have this. So let's go there. Where are we? Print working directory. We are here. ls-la. Look at the hidden folder, hidden directory. So cd.ssh. ls-la. Look at the file. What was the name of the file? The file where it was saved? IDRSA. IDRSA public. Your public key has been saved in IDRSA public, right? Your identification has been saved. That was your private key has been saved. All right. So this is where our public key has been saved. So how do we know the content here? How do we know the content of this file? It's a cat, that file. All right, so that is the key. This is our public key, all the way from here. That is our public. Any question? Do you understand that so far?
Not at all, sir, because it's just like imagine, because I was lost from the beginning when we were trying to ping the other server. So I don't know if there is a way we can just go back and just try it.
Okay,
again.
so do you know the meaning of ping? Oh, yeah, and answer me so that I know where to go back.
No, sir. No.
Okay. So ping is a command to test connectivity between two systems. Let me quickly go to drawing board. Okay, can you see my drawing board?
Yeah.
So I have this system, this computer, whether it is in cloud or in real life or in physical, and then I have this system somewhere far away. I mean, remote, as long as it's not part of this, it's remote. For me to test connectivity, which is in IT to test whether there is connection between these two systems. Because without connection, you cannot transfer file from this system to this system, which is ultimately what we want to do. We want to create a file here and move that file from this server into this server. So the first thing to do is this server connected to this server in such a way that this server 1 can see this server 2? The way to do it, the command is ping. You ping server 2 from server 1. So that's the meaning of ping. It's basically asking, can you see the Oklahoma server? Can you see Dallas server? Is there connectivity between the two of them? That's the meaning. All right, so now you know the meaning of ping. Now let us go and use it. What is the name on networks? When we're talking about computer networks, IT, even telecoms, the way that we recognize computers and devices on a network is by their IP addresses. So we don't call them red computer or blue computer. We don't call them by any other name. The name by which computers are known on the network is by its IP address. So that is why anytime we are referring to a computer, whether we call that computer server 1 or we call it server 2, we are always calling it by its IP address. So for server 1 to call server 2, is going to call server 2's IP address. For server 2 to call server 1, is going to address server 1 by its IP address. So it means that the command for server 1 to find out if server 2 is in connectivity with it is ping IP address. What IP address? The IP address of server 2. Or server 2 or any other server. You get it now?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, like you will see in cloud later, usually there are two kinds of IP addresses. Or now, anytime we're talking about IP address, without specifically referring to a particular one, we mean the public IP address, the name that the system is called publicly. All right. So with all of this now, let us go and so let us share. So where are we? We're in server 1, right? What do we want to do? We want to see if server 1 can see server 2. So can you lead us now? What is the command? I just spoke English now, but in IT, what should I do?
Ping server 2.
However, instead of server 2,
this is also correct. IP address.
IP address, correct. So let me go and copy the IP address of server 2.
But sir, is that not the same? Is that not the same IP address that is showing at the top of our SSH line?
Let's see. This one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's confirm if it's the same IP address. So can you see this? This one ends 152.1.179, right? For server 2, yeah. So let's go there. On this server 2, 152.179. So you are right. So for your own, instead of coming here to copy, you can just type it from there. Fine. Good observation. All right. So we'll come here now and we'll copy from there and we'll paste it. So it's the same thing I just typed. Okay? Yeah. This 2 is the server 2. So that's why it's that one. So that is it. So now, if they were connected, if there was a line or imaginary line in terms of wireless connecting the two of them, I should see reply, reply, reply 4 times or even more. That is, yes, I am connected to server 2. Anything other than reply, 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 which I am not seeing now, shows that the server is not connected to server 2. So they are not connected. You get it?
Yes.
Any other person who got it or did not get it to this point?
So the server is not connecting. They are not communicating.
They are not communicating. For there to be connection, for there to be communication, there must first of all fundamentally be a connection. So the ping has told us that there is no connection. Therefore, there cannot be communication. There's no connectivity. Everyone understands that? All right, so I take the silence for yes, everyone understands. All right, but the person that said he didn't understand, thank you. Otherwise, we would have just assumed everyone will do it. All right, so now there is a problem, right? Because we want these two systems to communicate. They are not communicating. So let us go and troubleshoot and solve that problem. Are we ready now for that one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for two systems to communicate, generally, there must be, this is more than Linux now. This is doing proprietary. So for these two systems to communicate, this guy, there is something called key pair, right? Key pair means there is a public key and a private key. So for these two systems to communicate, this man has a public key and private key. This server has a public key and private key. This server must send its public key to this server. And then this server will keep its own private key. Private key is the key, public key is the padlock. So that this man can use the key pair to identify, say, oh, is it you? Okay, yes. And then it will now open the door, the ports for that communication. So the way to solve this problem is to make this server 1 create a key pair, and then we can copy the public one from here into this one. Once this man has the public key, he's now able to use This one is not able to use its private key to open this public key, and they are not able to communicate. Or if that is too complex to understand, let's just say this man has to have 2 keys. He must give the other key to the server, to the system that he wants to be able to communicate. Once this one has 1 key, this one has the other key, then they will not be able to communicate. So that is the way to solve this.
So, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if I get you right, you're saying server 1 and server 2, they will both send their public key to each other.
Don't worry. No, that wasn't what I said. I said server 1 will send its public key to server 2.
Okay.
That way, it will not be able to establish connectivity and see server 2. And once server 1 can see server 2, it also means that server 2 can see server 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if you understand that English, the way to do it in IT is to say keygen, that keygen. This one I will cut it because it's not responsive. Just hang it. So we Control-C to cut. So earlier on, when we said keygen, that was what we did. You see, SSH keygen, we are saying generate a key pair so that you can take, what we want to do is take the public one and send to the other one. We will use this command, SSH keygen. So this is advanced Linux command that we'll be using a lot in Devo. Because even though computers are in public, not any computer can just connect with any computer. There'll be no security in cloud now. If because you are in public, I'm in public, you just connect to my computer without authority. Everybody will, it will look like Osho the garage. Everybody is angry. So there's a kind of protection around every computer in public. It is only when you toast me and I agree to your toasting that we can have a relationship. That's all. That's all. All right. So sorry?
I have a question.
Okay.
So this, so that, for example, you have a server in your, this is just an example. Say, Mr. Akin, you have a server in your house. So I can do this SSH keygen and send that key pair to your server, and your server will acknowledge, and then I can see your server, just like that.
If my server has a public IP address, yes.
So irrespective, so all servers do have public address, right?
Yes.
Yes, all servers that are available publicly have public IP address.
So there's no security there. If I can just do SSH keygen and just connect to any.
There is security. This is just one layer of so many layers of security. By the time we get into cloud, we'll talk more. But this is a level of security because this is saying generate a key. Because it is only this server that generated the key. It is only this server that has the key. So it's not public key. I mean, it is public to this server, but not everybody has it. So yes. But again, like I said, even if you feel that this is not secure enough, before you get to this level, there are other 3, 4, 5 levels of security you have to cross to get to it.
Okay.
All right. So now we have generated the key, and we talked about where the key was saved to for us. It was saved into this folder .ssh. The dot there means it's hidden. You cannot just see it when you say ls -l. It's not there. Oh, okay. I mean cd ls -l. The .ssh is not there. But when you say ls -l or a, that is when you see it. Anyway, so we say cd. This one, I'll just highlight. So we are there now. If we now do ls -la, we see both the private key and the public key. So this is our interest. Because the private key is private. We have no business with the private key. It is the public key that can be moved from place to place. Private means it belongs to just you and me. Public means it can share. So this is it. So what is the content? What is this public key? Remember how to check the content of the file? That's the name of the file. So this is the public. Everything I'm seeing inside from SSS or here. If you ask me now, please give me your public key so that I can connect to you. This is what I'll copy and give to you. Do you get it so far? I don't know it should be this. Are you sure if people practice
So
the last?
is it okay?
Not
Sorry
that
to
hard.
interrupt.
Sorry?
Can I ask a question, please?
Sorry?
No? Yeah, I want to ask a question.
Yeah. Ask the question.
Oh, okay. So the when I created my public key, so it asked for a password, and then I got the hash.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
When I created the public key, it asks the key, public key, and the using the key gen. It asks for a password. Can you hear me?
Yeah, when it asks
Yeah.
for password, you press enter 2 times and you were not here then.
So I actually entered the password, and then I got a hashed
Can't help
value.
you if you enter password.
No, just a quick question. I just wanted to ask something about the hashed function that I got.
Okay, so what's your question now?
So the hashed function that I got, is it the same? I know it's the hashed value of this public key. Is it going to work as the RSA? Let's say I send my password to the server 2. So
I don't
can
have
they
the
be able
answer
to?
to that question.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because I'm not even sure what you are saying. Because in my example, I'm not using password. In your example, you are using password, so we are not seeing the same thing.
No, I'm just saying because copying these public keys and sending it and just letting someone to see the public keys is like a security risk. So that password actually hashed the keys so that you can send the hashed values to the other system, and then with that they can decrypt it with the password, and then they can get the RSA.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's a bit too advanced for this class and maybe even for me. So
I understand what
I'm not,
you know.
yeah. All right, so maybe after this one works, I want to try some advanced techniques and look at that. Okay, so we have this. So what are we going to do with this one? All right, let's go back to the notes. We have a note that is guarding it. All right. So the private key, the private and public keys are generated and saved here. This is what I've been explaining. One is saved here, the other one is saved in all. All right. And then we went in here and we saw it. All right. At the destination server, this file is saved in authorized keys. All right. Copies the public key to the SSH of the destination server. So let me break that down. So copy the public key to the SSH of the destination server. Okay. Let me just put it in a way that you will understand. At the destination server, go to or open the file and save the content of the. Okay, it makes more sense. All right, so now that we have that key in one server, now let us copy it and go and put it in the other server. Like I've made a copy, take a copy for yourself. So to do that, let's go back there. Okay, so let us come to the other server. All right, this one is still trying to ping this thing up. So at this other server, let us do ls. What are we? Okay. Okay, cd.ssh. Remember the same place where we checked the other time. This time we do ls minus la. Here, you see, we are now seeing authorized key, not exactly what we saw on the other side. This is authorized key we are seeing here. So let us edit this authorized key. You remember how to edit a file? So what we want to do is copy the public key from server 1 and put it inside this authorized key. So do vi nano, or so let me do vi, or better still sudo vi is authorized. All right. You already have something, right? Okay. Let me just leave what we have and go to the end of the file. Okay. Just patiently get to the end. Otherwise, there's shortcut. All right. And then I go here and I copy this public key. Control C. And then I come here and I paste. I right click. All right, so I have copied the public key from one system into another. So I am done. So press escape, colon, right, quit. All right, that is done. So that is what all of this was. I will should copy from there and put it in the right. Okay, so that's it. Now, let us, because the whole idea and the whole essence of pinging and, in fact, let us ping again. Let's see if we will get it done. So from server 1, let us say ping, like somebody observed, so we just ping the IP address. Okay. Ping 3 dots. Are we right? 91.15. Huh?
No.
That's not correct.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. 152.179.
179. Okay. All right, still not pinging. Okay, no problem. Let's continue. We'll make progress. Now, the next thing we want to do, because it's still not connecting, is follow the notes. Now we have made a copy of the key. So the next thing we want to do, for the solution above, this is what we do. Go to the destination server, in this case, server 2 from server 1. Switch to root. The reason you are switching to root is this is a configuration file. You cannot edit it unless you are root, unless you want to use sudo. So we veer into this file and we change password authentication to yes. password authentication to yes in the destination server. Okay, let's quickly go there. We'll go here. This is server 1, bring it to server 2. So we'll go to server 2. ls minus la. Where's that file again? The file is in Etsy. Remember, all configuration files are in Etsy. So we go into Etsy, and then we go into SSH, and we look for this file called SSH
Config.
SSH underscore config. If you want, you can just copy and paste right away. But because we are still learning, let's take it step by step. So let's go to CDware, Etsy, ls minus la. There are many files, and amongst them is SSH. So we say cd SSH, ls minus la. And then which file are we interested in? This one, right? So we can sudo vi into that file. SSH form. Right? That is the file. So to edit, we press install. This is the reason you learned vi, so that you'll be able to edit. So we'll look for, where is it? Like, so destination server, switch to root, yeah. And then password, SSH. Find the wrong place. Now, let's get out. Control, escape.
Escape.
Then colon, do not save. No need to for W, just a confirm. There are 2 files here. Who am I? Who am I? I am EC2 user. This is not the one that I want to edit. I want to edit the one that is under root. So I need to be root. So switch sudo su and then cd ls minus la. So cd etsy ssh ls minus la. vi. Or did I pick the wrong? Which? Oh, sorry. I picked the wrong file. I picked this one, right? It should be sshd config. This is the right file. If I was not used to the file, I would have thought so. So let's see. SSHD. Look at the D there. Okay, so let's pick the correct file. Okay, so vi that file is the correct file. Yes, recognize it. We will look for where it allows password authentication. And we see password authentication.
Right there.
Yeah.
Change it to yes.
Change it to yes. Which means allow password authentication. And then that's all, right? Is there any other thing we should do? That's all. And then we are done. So we escape, colon. This time we save. We quit, and then we bang, and then that's it. All right. So we are done. Now, a new command. Every time you edit a configuration file well, most times you edit a configuration file, you have to tell the system that there has been a change. I should go and pick the new file because we just changed something. So the way to do that is to restart the file. And in this case, for this configuration file, the command is systemctl restart, then the name of the file, the name of the service. We are going to come here and say, because we edited that, there is a change. System, pick the change. So it's going to be systemctl restart. Whether you say restart or you simply say start is the same. Restart or start what? The service SSH. That is it. And then you may also want to say enable, which means apart from starting it this time, every other time the system starts, always
enable it.
Enable it. Make sure that this is done. Otherwise, I'll need to be starting it manually. In fact, automate the start. To enable. So this way, next time it will also work on the. All right. So that is the meaning of this. All right. So the last thing we want to do is we want to attach, because we have said allow password authentication. So this time we want to assign password to the EC2 user. So especially from both sides, you can do it here and there, but especially from here. So let's quickly create a user here. We already have a user EC2. In cloud, there are only two users, root and EC2. We are not creating users. So let us assign a password to EC2 user. How do we do that? The command is to create user is user add, but we already have the user. So it will be password EC2 user. What password do we want to give? Anything is okay as password. Let me give the password I normally give. All right. So that is done. So here, let's also create EC2 and its user. So let's change to root. Sudo su. So as root now, what do we do? Password. Assign password to EC2. And then the password will be the same. All right. So we now have a password to use if it asks us for password. Or this one. And the person who wants to SSH must be the same here and there. So we have EC2 here, we have EC2. Beautiful. Beautiful. For the pinging, let's try one more time. But even if the pinging does not work, I will look closely into that and find out why. But as far as SSH is concerned, we have everything we need. Ping. Ping this IP address.
3.91.
1.
Dot 5.2.
5.2.
179.
All right. Okay. I know why ping is not work. Okay. I'll just do it to you. I'll not teach you the details, but I'll just do it now so that you know that we're in control of it. Okay, let me quickly go to cloud and allow pinging to work. So I go to cloud and I say this other level of security called security group for server 2. I go there and I go to security group. That's my security. Yeah. I go to Coco and I check. What is going on here? Then I come here and I check. And I see that this security group, it is like a firewall around the EC2, is allowing HTTP, is allowing SSH, and is blocking every other thing. Pinging does not use HTTP. Pinging does not use SSH. Pinging uses ICMS. So I come here, edit inbound rules, and I come and I say allow pinging. So I add rule, and I see where's my ICMP? Yeah. So I say allow ICMP, which is the protocol from everywhere. All right, and I say correct. So I have not allowed the port that pinging uses. So if I do that for server, what did I do now? I'm trying to get it. Where's my server? Okay. So I did that for server 1, I guess. So let me go back to server 2 and also allow pinging in server 2. So I go back to, don't worry, we'll still do this in class. Or I just wanted to do. So I come here and I come, oh, it was on
That
server
was
2
the
that
same one you did, yeah.
So this time I go to server 1. I go to Coco. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it's a different security group. Okay, I'm not consistent. I should be consistent. I should use one. Anyway, but it's okay. So I come here and I say this one allows only SSH, nothing else. No, allow pinging. So I come here and I say edit, allow pinging. And pinging is IC. Pinging from which system? This another one. I'm sure White is taking care of this, taking note of this. In my system, I would normally not say from anywhere. I would say only from the particular system in the whole world that I want to be able to connect. So that not just anybody who can do it. Anyway, so pinging is allowed now. So I come back here. It's already pinging, even before we came here. If I come here now and I say you ping 54.89.90.94, it will also ping because ping 44. But no, this is not the real thing. I just did this just to demonstrate. The real thing we want to do, the real reason we are testing for connectivity is so that we can SSH. So now let's do the real thing, which is the SSH. How do you SSH into another system from one system? All right, so we'll cut this. Yeah, I know I'm rushing for somebody who is learning this one for the first time. Don't worry, we'll come back to it. The people that, let's just get it to work and then I'll revise everything all over. Adewale, right? Ayodele.
So
I'll come back to this, right? So the real command is, the real reason we are doing all this is to be able to SSH into this system. What is the command for SSH? Look at the command. Look at the command for SSH. So the command for SSH is have we done SSH before? Okay. So SSH, then the name of the user, EC2 in this case, into the public address of the system that you are trying to SSH it. All right, so let's do that. SSH, the username, in this case, EC2 at public address of that IP address. So we come here and we say no, it's not good to SSH as root. So let's go back to switch user to EC2. Yeah. But go back to our, all right. SSH into where? Into SSH at EC2 user into where? At the IP address of those space at 3.91.152.17. So this is the command. So when you press enter, are you sure you want to connect to that system? You say yes. Permission denied.
why?
Why? We'll have to find that and correct.
Oh,
Have to troubleshoot. Permission denied to that server. Okay.
I
The
think you
thing that we did when we said password, we did it on which system? When we allowed the password authentication. Let's come here and do it here. So we do go to, where did we do it? Let's find out. LS, what are we? Working direction. Yes. LS minus LA. So VI into so was it here? No, this is the wrong file again. What am I doing? Don't see. Just so what's the problem?
But are we not supposed to use sudo anytime we call SSH? Because EC2 user is not root. If we call SSH and we're not supposed to use sudo.
We are working as root.
No, I'm talking about when you're trying to connect with server.
For SSH?
No, not you were on that one.
SSH, no, we don't use sudo.
When you're trying to connect, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we use sudo. Yes, the VI into this file, Insert, then go all the way down. What are we? This is not the, where's the file? Okay, so this is, so we did it here, right? This is correct.
Maybe we did not do it in the other.
Maybe it's on the other one that we didn't do. So let's come back here and do the same thing here. So we come here and we say
VI.
First of all, let's be root and be in the proper direction. So sudo su, then cd etc ssc ls minus la, then vi, and then okay. So and then we also say allow password authentication.
Said no. This one, I guess this should be the mistake.
So we are done. Escape, save, quit. Done. All right. Anytime we edit a configuration file, what do?
We restart.
Yes. So
and we enable
systemctl. Then what? What service did we change now?
SSHD.
D.
All right. Then systemctl.
Enable
SSH. Awesome. Beautiful. So let's try again. Okay. So we'll try to SSH. Okay. First of all, cannot SSH as root. Let's
Let's go back to the EC2.
CD,
CD
user to EC2 user. Then what?
Ping.
CD. Then ping is already good. Then SSH. Okay. So we don't have that command. So we just SSH as EC2 user at the remote server. This is 3.91.152.179. All right. Permission still denied?
But since we have named the server, can't we just say at server 2 instead of saying?
Not yet. We can, but not yet. Let's take the server. IP address is the real name. So later when we talk about DNS, then I can now show you how it is resolved. SSH EC2 public. There's something I still have not copied. Okay, so public CD
or SSHD.
No, this won't be SSH. The command is SSH. but the service is SSHD. Permission denied. Okay, let me troubleshoot one more time. So let's look at the document. SSH. We have authorized on both sides. Destination, the power. Sudo SSH EC2 public address of this. Maybe we're interested in. SSH EC2 at public address. Or am I doing wrong? EC2 at.
And we should know it.
It's not good. Permission denied. Public key. I copied the public key from here to here, so why is it denied? Okay, let me just look at that. So, okay, so. Let me check some. IDRS, SSC. Public. Let me check that public key again. So EC2, what am I? LS minus LA, BD, SSH, LS minus LA. This is my public.
Let's cut into it. Let's see.
Cut that. Yeah, I didn't copy it well or what?
Do we need the key pair of the server, the EC2 instance, the key pair of the EC2 instance?
Yeah, this is the public of out of the two keys, the key pair. This is the public key. This is the one we need to copy. We are copying this, Control C, and then we are putting it here. So we're doing. And then we are putting it here. Where are we putting it?
You did not save or you just quitted?
That one we didn't need to save. It was already done. I think. So what are we putting it here? Let's go to root user to EC2 user. Then what? CD ls minus LA CD dash SSH ls minus LA hat or echo. So let me just do BI not the same thing. So insert all right, so copy that from here to here. Control C and then Control V. I didn't copy this one. Okay. So copy from here to here, Control C, and then come here and do that. So that's it. Okay, escape, save, quit. So this time, this is not an it's not a configuration file. It's not an SSD. I mean, it's not an X. So nothing to do. We need to restart. Okay. So I'll try one more time. If it doesn't work, we'll go ahead with other things. Then I will troubleshoot this and tell you what I found. So how do we test now? What are we testing? We want to SSH remotely into the other server. So the command is SSH at EC2 user.
Oh no.
SSH EC2 user at where? No. Okay, let me even try the other way around. So I'm working on server 2 now. Let me try from side. 54.89.90.
94.
Yeah. What's my password? So this one is working. It's working from this direction to that direction. All right. Because we can see that even though we are working originally from server 2, we are now in server 1. So the whole idea of SSH is that you can be on one server in California and you can be working on from that server in California. You don't have to travel to MTN Nigeria to go and solve that problem. You can connect to their Linux server because their GSM and the 4G network run on Linux server and solve the problem right from California with the power of SSH. This is actually for the newcomer, people like I do. Anyway, we have successfully logged this at least in this direction. So now let me go back and take you from where I guess you were confused, because now at least we know what is working. All right. So Ayodele and where's that? Yeah, Dauda. Ayodele and Dauda, are you there?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
Paul and White, I beat experienced. So let us come back to your level now. Where did we lose it? Because I'm sure we lost it somewhere. Where do you want us to go back to? You understand up to pinging level?
Yeah, I real yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let me explain myself. When we
Okay.
started the class,
You
I
came late, actually.
was driving. I was using my phone. But
Mhm.
when you change the name to server 1, I didn't get it. But I believe that if I watch the video, I will get them. So I get it to the point where you started pinging.
Okay.
I get it to that point.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So let's explain from that point. Because this is actually DevOps now. So this is like what you are going to say in DevOps. But like I told you, I'm just giving you the key thing that you will need for the job, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So let me go back to drawing board. Bear with me, the other two people. So this is the drawing board. So the whole idea of pinging, like we said, oh, you already understand pinging. So from the point of pinging, what we want to do now is we want to come here. So as a DevOps engineer, you have been contracted by MTN to say, please help us solve this problem, because all the problems are scripting related, Linux related problems, even though you might be using another tool on top of Linux to do. So what you want to do, for example, you want to set up their automation, their billing automation. So what you want to do, the era of traveling to Nigeria to say, our consultant is coming from Germany, that era is over. It was over like 6-7 years ago. So what you do now is you sit here in your California office, and then you connect to this Nigeria server as if you were sitting right here, and everything you are doing from this California office right now, you are actually doing it inside here. You are just using this server as a terminal to not just to connect. There's a difference between connection and actually sitting here and like you are doing the work. So it's equivalent to you are in Nigeria, you are sitting here, and everything you are doing here is actually like you are sitting here and doing it. This concept of being on one system, but actually you are sitting on another system and working on that other system is called SSH. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
So when we said server 1 and server 2, we're just creating a system in California and another system in Nigeria. And then we're trying to show you what you need to put in place first of all, before you can successfully connect from server, not connect, before you can successfully SSH from server 1 into server 2. So all of the process that we went through was to achieve the goal ultimately of telling you, oh, you know what? You are now sitting in Nigeria and you are working on Glo or MTN server directly.
Okay.
It's so powerful. It's different from you are sitting here and you are from here sending files there. No. That's not what we're saying. That would be S copy or any other thing. But this one, you're actually sitting here, and whatever you are downloading from the internet, whatever you are installing directly on this server, so that you can now run the command to automate their billing process for them. Everything is on this server. It's not like you work on this server first of all, you now copy everything you did on this server to that server. It's a big difference. So this whole idea is called SSH, secure share. SSH. So how do we now achieve that? Those are the processes that we went through. And I know it was a bit lengthy, but you can manage to understand it, then the rest will be easy for you. So do you understand the concept now so that we'll go back to this lesson?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the concept. Now let's go and implement this concept. So we go back here. So we have two servers, server 1 and server 2. Right? From server 1, we want to SSH into, we're coming back to troubleshooting, but from server 1, we want to SSH into server 2. And normally, when that SSH route is clear, and you are able to SSH from server 1 to server 2, you should also be able to SSH into server 2, from server 2 into server 1. So they are equivalent. Now, what do we do? The thing you want to do is this. That's the note I have here. Right? What we want to do is, first of all, establish pinging, establish the fact that before I even start any of this, is there connectivity? Is there a spiritual line or a physical line through which these two servers can see each other? That was the pinging that we took care of. Having established pinging, you have not established SSH. In fact, it just shows that there's connectivity. It doesn't guarantee that you'll be able to download or connect or do anything. It just shows that there's a route. Now, the first thing you want to do is generate a key pair. So the idea of key pair is this system, one system will generate 2 keys. That's why it's called a key pair. It is only the system to which it gives this other key that it can establish SSH with. Because security share, the S there means security. So this is the security, this key is the security. If I share this key with another server, then it means that me and this server and that server have agreed to a 3-way handshake. Ah, you are my friend. Ah, we are friends now, we can connect. That's the meaning. So, because this key can be shared with another person in the public domain, it is called public key. But this other second one, it cannot be shared. Even if you share it, it's useless. So it remains private to this system. So it is called private key. So a key pair consists of a public key and a private key. So the command to generate a key pair so that this guy will now have a key to send to this guy is SSH keygen. So that was why, let me go back there. So that was why so that was why the first command that we entered when we're doing all of this was SSH keygen. So what are we saying with this command? We are saying generate a key pair because I want to use the public key to send to the other server in Nigeria so that it will authenticate me, right? And then it tells you, okay, I'm going to generate a key pair for you. Can you see it? And I'm going to save your key pair, one of them in this key. Just say, press enter to accept. So you press enter to accept. It tells you, well, this is just a there's already one there. Do you want to overwrite for this experiment? Let's see. And then ask you, what password do you want to assign? Are you still following?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For simplicity and for most books,
Enter.
yes, it's just enter. Right. So let's not complicate matters by entering password. It's not really, this is not a security threat. Don't worry about it. But for now, enter. Are you sure you want nothing for your password? Yes, I'm sure. Enter. So this way you have generated a key pair. The private key has been saved into that file for you, and the public key has been saved into this file for you. All right, beautiful. So what's the next thing you want to do now? You want to send this public key to the other server, right? That's why you created key pair, so that you can send the public key to the Nigerian server. Without this public key, if you attempt to SSH into Nigeria server will block you. It does not know you. I mean the MTN server. The MTN server, like every other public server, is protecting itself from intrusion, from attack. So unless it knows you and recognizes your face through this public key, it will not allow you to access it. So in order to copy this key from server 1 to server 2, let us go and see the content of this key. Do you remember how to see the content of a file?
We cut into it.
Okay. But before we cut, we have to be in the right directory where the file. Are we in the right directory? Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, we're in the right directory because look at this one.
Yeah.
So we say cat, then the name on that. All right, so this is the key. We'll be careful when we are copying. We'll copy space or anything that should not be part of it, it will not work. So just make sure you highlight the right place and copy. All right. So when you copy it, where are you going to drop it, deliver it? You go to the other server and you go to ls-la, you go to cd.ssh, you go to ls-la, and then you go to this authorized key. Does it not make sense? Authorized key, the key of systems that are authorized to connect with you. So how do you edit it? Remember you learned about editing? You VI into that. Right? You see, you come here. right? In fact, okay, so what I had anyway, we already did it successfully, but we are just doing this just to. So you come here, and then we press release space. Don't delete what was there before because it's useful. In fact, this is the one that Cloud created for you. Oh, don't worry about it. So we come back here and we select, right? And then we'll come here and we'll see. Did you get that? So this is the way to give a second server, another server your public IP. Don't forget to save. Escape, colon. All right. Did you get that? All right, beautiful. So we are done. So the next thing you want to do now is for us to do SSH, the user that wants to SSH from here to here must exist here and here as well. The same user. So if Ayodele wants to SSH from server 1 to server 2, Ayodele must own an account here and must also own an account in server 2. Otherwise, it will not be allowed. So fortunately for us, we already have EC2. EC2 is here, EC2 is there. But to make the EC2 the same EC2, they are not different EC2. We'll give them the same password. So that way we'll know it's not just the same person, they also have the same matrix number. So to give a password to this EC2 user, we say password. Remember the command? EC2 user. We'll do that here, and we'll also do that here. So we are meeting all the conditions one by one for SSH. We created a public key, we posted it to the destination server. We create in this case, we did not create a new user, we just assigned the password, right? What other condition do you need to meet in order to be able to SSH? The other condition is to go to this file called sshd_config and allow password authentication. In other words, allow EC2 to be able to SSH into the remote server using the password that you just assigned to EC2, right? That is the meaning. Are you getting it?
Yes.
All right. So once you do that, do you want us to do that? We already did that, right? Okay, let's do it. How do you go to this file? Look at the file here. It's a configuration file. Configuration file, anytime you are looking for them, always go to the directory X.
We go to them one by one. It's not as if we're going to run the command at once.
Yes, you get to some level where you can just copy this whole command and run it out. But because we are still learning, let us just learn how to get from here. But if you know, like me, if I wanted to do this, I'll just copy the whole command and do it out. Work. Okay. Yeah, but for people just starting, let's move from floor 2 to floor 3 so that we see the real file and then we'll now VI into the real file. That way, magic, the abracadabra. All right, so where are we so that we know where we are going? Print working directory. We're in XSS. This is not where we want to be. We want to be in etc. With the CD /X. And if you want, if you remember, you can just do SSH straight away. Yeah. ls-l. This is the file you are interested in. Be careful, don't make the mistake that I made. It's the one that has a D. So maybe this time you try nano if you feel, why if you're always using VI? Try nano and use nano to exit. Okay, error because I'm not entitled to. Let me quickly exit. Permission denied. To exit is Control X. So for me to be able to do this, I either have to be root or use, I think it's better to be root. That was what it. So switch user sudo SC. So I'm root now. Where am I? So I'm still here. Okay. ls minus la. So I do, let me just do my vi. I'm all used to this. So vi this file. Right? So insert, then I scroll down and look for that password authentication. And then it was originally no. I changed it to yes. Is it too long a process?
No, no.
Right? So I changed it to yes. And remember that you are SSHing from one system to another. So basically, whatever you do here, you also want to do here. Because what they use align password authentication from here, but you are not aligning there. Just complete it. It's two-way handshake, not one way. So I also come here and I do the same. But before I go there, I do the same thing. I save my changes. And then because I just edited a configuration file, I'll be doing this in DevOps a lot, be editing a lot of configuration files. That was why we learned BI. So every time we edit a configuration file, the way to tell the system that there is a change in that configuration file, don't use the old one anymore, use the new one, is to say system CTL, system control. Start or start. Restart assumes that it started before, so you are just restarting it. Then the name of the service that you just change the configuration. It could be networking, it could be FTP, it could be anything. In this case, it's SSHD. That's the name of the service. It's the SSH. Demo. Once you do that, you are done. And then the enable says, yes, I know that you have restarted. I don't have problem in this session. But subsequently, in future, anytime I restart the system, please always restart this new one, not the old one. So to do that, you say enable. All right, that's it. You are all done. So by completing that, you have met all the requirements. Hearing. You are now ready to SS.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said earlier on that we can as well run this O command vi /etc/SSH. Can we run it and see what the outcome is?
Okay, so we just copy from here. Control C, and then we go to, yeah, it doesn't matter where we are, just paste it. Oh, remove the dot. And then just takes us straight to the.
We come here straight and change the password identification.
Yes.
And save.
And save, yeah. Is that what you wanted to see?
Yeah. That's.
We are done then. Any other question? So that is the entire process. So what I just wanted to show you with all of this was one, the meaning of pinging and the fact that you use pinging to test connectivity. And two, how you can connect one server, because you do this all of the time. How you can connect one server to another server and be able to access the second server from the phone remotely using SSL. That's all I wanted to show you. And if you understand that, then you have really understood a lot, because this is something you be doing regularly, like I said. Everything we have learned today, you need them in the. And normally it takes like 1 month of training to get you to understand this. So if you can manage to understand it now, only after 2 weeks of training, you are good. Any questions? Talk to me, please. Is this still confusing?
No.
Okay. So if it's not confusing and you
Just a
and
quick
all of
question.
sorry?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Since we've established the connection between both servers and we're able to SSH into the other server, can we reverse it and then SSH from server
Yes, definitely.
1 to server 2?
Definitely. And if we have any problem, we should be able to troubleshoot, just like we'll be
Yeah.
troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to, okay, let's go on. All right, so I don't think we messed anything up one way, but let's try again. So from first of the last time we were able to access it from here, right? Let's try again. So what are we able to do this time? Okay, let's enter the command SSH as EC2 user at the remote system, which is 54.59.92. All right, are you sure you want to connect? Yes. All right, so this is working. Did you connect?
You remember we used the in server 1 already, so we already SSH'd into server 1.
Into server
And
1.
then we repeated the same thing. So maybe we should SSH back to server 2.
So we have exited now.
Exited.
So we are now back from server 1. So every time you SSH, remember to exit. This one has happened many times. I will enter command and enter and enter and enter. It will not be working. Only for me, not knowing that I'm working on the Nigeria server. And meanwhile, I was expecting the command to work on the USA server, just because I refuse to say log out or exit. So with log out or exit now, we are back to server 1, right?
Yeah. Do we need to go back to the roots to be able to see that we are on server 2?
This server 2, we are server 2.
Yeah, but it's still showing server 1. So,
okay, so we are back to server 2.
Yes.
Okay. So now we are sure we're in server 2. So switch user to EC2. All right. So for sure we know now that we're in server 2. So let us SSH into server 1. SSH into server 1.
3.
And then it says, what's my password? Once it asks you, it means you're on the right side. All right, so from server 2, we are now working in server 1. The SSH was successful, no complaint. If you now say, what command do you want to enter now?
Exit to
Make
log out.
that,
Okay.
make directory and call it IO. ls minus LA, and then you see IO. This is not in this server. This work you just did is on this server. If you come here now and just do go back to EC2 user, switch user to EC2 user, and go to the home directory, clear the screen, and do ls minus LA. You're going to see IO there. Because even though you created it here, you're actually working right there. That's the idea. Anything you are doing here, you are doing inside. If I create a file now and put it inside IO, I am doing it here. I will see it. I think I was doing it. Anyway, so your question is, now that we have successfully done it from, we have successfully SSH into server 1 from here. Can we also SSH into server 2 from here? That was the question, right? Okay,
yes.
Let's try. Exit. So we are back to server 2. So let's come here and SSH into server 1. Okay. So what's the command? SSH at SSH as EC2 user at server. Okay. I wanted to copy, but let me just 3.91.152.7. All right. Permission denied. So it's time to find out why this trouble. All right. So permission denied. EC2 user 3.91.152. The IP address is correct. Public key is okay. Let me find out another public key. I did before, but okay. So password EC2 only root can specify user path. The switch user to do pass changing password for EC2 user. No need. Okay, I'm here. Okay, so that is done. And let me go to
SSH.
SSH. Let's quickly check those cases. Let me go to Etsy. Or to use the iOS method, just copy the hook. Password authentication, yes.
Yes.
Did we mess up this file in any way? No.
I think it's the public key. The public
Yeah,
key.
but we're just checking around because I've checked that public key twice.
Yeah, we
Right.
changed it when it was still in SSH1. So we put the
okay, at least we know that this one is okay. So let's exit here. Escape. We need to save, no need to save. All right, so far so good. We check public key. Let me go back to EC2. Switch user to EC2 user. And then cd, switch working directory, ls minus la. Okay, so you said this. So public key will be inside here. cd.ssh ls minus la. So public, okay, I'm seeing some. So, but before I check that, let me quickly check public key. Cat public key.
Okay.
Okay, so we have this in case we need it, we have it here. Now let us see this. What do we have inside here? This one should have the key of the other one. What do we have inside?
That's no key. Yeah.
Yeah, it has something. Server one. What server are we on? This server one now.
Yeah, it should have server 2. Yeah.
You have server 2. This is the wrong one. It's having for server 1. Server 1. All right. Let's correct that. So let us edit this. Let us edit here.
Yeah.
And then insert. Oh, I didn't log in as a root. I'm not able to edit.
Yes.
Okay, let me exit. Control. Nothing on me.
Control C.
Escape. Hold on. No, don't say just quit. All right, so let's do sudo, or better still, which is
Sudo
su, and then either. Is it really? Well, I'm not sure that was necessary, but so so let's go I have to. Okay. So let's go and copy. What are we copying from here? Did we remember to exit here? What are we copying from here? The public key of this piece. Where's the public key? Hmm? LS minus LA.
We need to
Huh?
generate one.
We have not generated. That's why we're having problem. We don't even have we have not even generated the
key.
SSH, the key.
I
So,
think we had it before.
okay.
So I'm a little bit, I'm getting confused. So when from the server one, we created a key pair and added that key pair to server two. So we are supposed to create a key pair for server two and add that key pair to server one. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes. So that they are both able to log into each other. Okay. Well, let's do it successfully and then we'll correct the note and make it a permanent part of the note. So at least we're able to do it one way now. So whatever we did to make it possible one way, let's try and make it. So what do we do now? SSH key gen?
I think we should cut into the authorized key first before we can, because the other time I see us generate the key for both.
Yeah, let's do SSH key gen. No, SSH. Yeah. Okay, so ls minus la to cd SSH ls minus la. So now what do we have now? We have the public key now. We didn't have it. So what do? We now do cat
ID.
That way. All right. So we have for server two. We copy over.
So I ran that same key on my computer. It does not allow me. It says such file or directory is not. There is no such file directory.
Which one? This one?
I tried to run it on mine. After I've generated the key.
I don't know the command. So this is server two now. Okay. So we have this. So let us right quit back. All right. So we are done. This is not exe file, so we don't need to restart. So what do we do now? I think that's all. Okay, let us try again. Let us try SSH. So go back to SU, switch user to what? EC to that. ED. There. Now let's try SSH now. SSH as EC to into where? 3.91.152.171. Permission still denied.
And he's saying public key.
I have a question. If a server generates a key and gives that key to the other server, is the server itself, is it supposed to have that same key stored inside of that
each other?
Yeah. No, not each other. Is it supposed to be stored inside of itself and then also stored inside of the etc directory in the other server?
Which key are you talking about? Is it the public key or the private key?
I'm talking about the key. When we did the key gen, we just did a key pair. And that key pair from server 1, we copied that key pair and put it inside of the authorized key in server 2.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying is, are we supposed to have that same key pair inside of the authorized key in server 1 that generated the key pair itself?
No, because for that purpose, the server 1 does not have authorized key. Authorized key comes to play in server 1 if you now want to do it the other way around.
Okay. So, but in this instance now, we generated 2 key pairs, one for server 1 and one for server 2. And we exchanged both key pairs inside of the authorized keys for each of those 2 servers. And that's what we did here now. Is that right?
The first one was a mistake, but we just left it there and added the second one.
Okay.
But what we're just doing basically is we are looking for a solution to this problem. So just suggest a solution. So in looking for a solution, we are just trying all doors, anyone that opens, then once we can get out. So we cannot really see what is right or what is wrong now. If something works, and then we document it to say, okay, this is it.
Well, I would suggest, do you want to check the inbound and outbound traffic inside of that security group on the cloud of this server 1 and see if there's any issue there?
No, that'll be guesswork. I know that's not what it is.
Okay.
So, all right. So I'll leave you. I'll leave this. I'll handle this. And I mean, this, first of all, these issues like this always come up. Sometimes you just think I've done this like how many times, so I shouldn't. But I mean, it comes up. So I'll find the solution and then I'll share it with you. But at least we're able to do it in one direction. So leave me to continue with this, with rectifying this. I'll find the solution and then I'll document it. Once I document it, and that's how I make my notes. This will never happen because in the notes, you now know what to do. All right, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I'll find it.
How you doing?
All right, so we've learned enough for one day in 2 hours. But like I said, I don't want to just be watching me and let me find out why this permission is. So what have we done today? Today we've done networking, we've done this. So are you seeing my notes? And the services are connected. So we've been able to access. All right, so we'll just learn how to copy files, to create files and do that. And then the next major thing we'll be doing will be what we started the last time. But this time, instead of just, I'll just show you how to install 1 or 2 services so that you learn the procedure that every time you want to, you can actually do this, I can give you this. But because I need to troubleshoot that other one, I don't want to teach you anything new until I get that one right.
So there is this question that I want to ask.
Huh?
I don't know if it's going to be useful for us. Like why do we on our instances, on our virtual machine, why do we always use the public IP address?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, sorry about it.
And at the same time, because I see that there are options of 2 different IP address. Is it I don't know why we always like to use the public IP address.
Yeah, we'll do that in cloud. Cloud will teach you about IP addresses, what the private is for and what the public is.
And the public. Then again, when we were trying to spin our instances, usually there is a permanent key, but sometimes we decided to change the key for our instances. So what is the difference between that key that was generated and downloaded then and this one that we are using to ping it before we can ping into our SSH that we need to generate?
Essentially, it's the same thing. But how do you now copy a file that is already downloaded when Linux is asking? So just this is a shortcut to just doing.
Okay.
The other route is a longer one. And first of all, again, always remember that there's always more than one way to do something IT.
I know.
Yeah, another person will say, instead of creating it anew like we did with a single command, let me go and copy that. And then by the time it takes 5 steps to get the same result.
Yeah, like this our permission on Chmod and whatever. I prefer the other one than the other calculation one. It makes it easy. I just go to the user, to group, and to the others. I do it and I get out of there.
Yeah, that is good. It's just that the calculation one is more of the standard thing. So when you are working for ISPs and you are working for, out in operations generally, you'll be communicating more in that 666 and 400 than that one. If it's just you alone, that one is fine. But once you are communicating with other engineers in the corporate in the enterprise organization, the calculation one is. Yeah. So back to your question, yeah, some other persons, depending on whether they are programmers by their orientation or they are DevOps by their orientation or they have been doing this thing for 15 years, they use different approach to achieve the same goal. Or we just happen to be using this particular. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, as you pass through these basics and you go advanced and you go into the industry, you go into operations and you are working with as part of a team, different people will be exhibiting in different ways they were taught by their different trainers.
Yes.
You'll be learning all right. All right, so let's close early today because we've actually learned a lot in these 2 hours. Let me continue to troubleshoot. Because sometimes once I just focus by myself, I can get it done earlier than when everybody is trying to make their contribution. Once I get it, I'll not share it.
We are still learning through the process, like the process of troubleshooting is still.
Yes, I know. I'll share it. I'll share it, but it's just that it doesn't help me. No IT work. You just need to lock yourself up and get it done right. Sometimes I have challenges that keep me 3 days consecutively. And then we eventually resolve it. You are like, why didn't I see it earlier on? It's so simple. All right, that'll be it for now. I'll let you guys go. Then we'll meet again on. Then 2 more lectures, we should be done with Linux.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, guys. All right. Please take time to what we do in class together is not enough. You need to practice and run into this kind of mistakes and be able to troubleshoot. That's what makes you make time to practice. All right then. So if you want to see me outside class, I'll be here to take your course. I'll chat with you. All right then. Bye guys.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Bye, sir.